Business Improvement Initiative, NE1, has been given the go-ahead to continue operating for an extra 5 years. Business owners across the city voted in favour of continuing to pay 1% levy on their business rates to finance a second term for NE1.
And that's good news for shoppers and rail users, as the vote will secure the future of things like late night shopping, free evening parking and the redevelopment of Central Station for the next 5 years.
Stephen Patterson from NE1 joins us now. Morning, Stephen.
Good morning.
So let's just explain who is actually behind NE1 and where does the investment come from?
Very much. NE1 is a business-led initiative. The investment comes from the businesses themselves. As you mentioned, they pay a 1% levy on their rateable value. And it's very much about creating a better city centre that attracts more people into it and obviously employs more jobs and attracts more businesses in to locate in the city centre.
So how much is it generated for the city then?
Well, to date, over the first 5 years, it's raised around about £10 million from the businesses themselves to finance improvements. And in addition to that, we've managed to raise an additional £22 million in associated projects.
Now, the projects that are ongoing, one of which we've been talking about in the travel news because it impacts just outside of Newcastle Central Station. So it's projects like that which perhaps don't exactly affect shoppers, but it affects the wider city centre.
Absolutely. Central Station project's important very much from a strategic point of view, because we want to create a city centre for the future, and I think as part of that we really need a fantastic welcome to the city. Network Rail and East Coast, 8.6 million from their side of things to redo the inside of the station, and we're working with the City Council rejuvenating the outside of the station as well.
So it's not just shops, it's the nighttime economy, it's people nipping to the theatre, using the free parking, etc. So how successful has that been, Alive After 5, for bringing people and feet, if you like, people, bodies into the city?
It's been hugely successful. Since we launched in October 2010, we've managed to attract an additional 5.8 million additional visitors into the city after 5 p.m. And the wider city centre footfall has also been up 5.4% last year. So we're pulling more people into the city centre. We're seeing more businesses locating in the city centre. So we've had Carluccio's, investment ongoing in Monument Mall, some fantastic retailers coming in there. So it's really providing dividends on that side of things.
How many have you lost, though, through the last 5 years? How many have shut up shop and decided to move on? Do you know?
Difficult to know, but what I would say is our vacancy rate for the core city centre is certainly well below the national average, so we are performing particularly well, and I think because of Alive After 5 and attracting more people into the city centre, businesses are seeing investing in Newcastle as a safer bet. So we are seeing the likes of Jack Will's moving into Monument Mall, Carluccio's, and those other restaurants that we've seen in Grey Street and the like. So that bodes really well for Newcastle in terms of attracting even more people in, but also it bodes really well for ultimately employment prospects for the wider city centre.
You've also been doing work with young people as well. Tell us about that.
We opened Space 2 within the last year, which is a young people's centre on Newgate Street. Working with the YMCA and Solar Learning. What that's about is really creating a place for people in the heart of the city centre, but also somewhere where they can get access to courses and homework sessions, things like that. Very much caters to a sort of 13 to 18-year-old demographic.
That sounds like youth work.
It is to a certain extent, but it's I think it's a lot more than that, because of our links with businesses, we've managed to, we've got Greg's involved, Lloyd's Bank, some of the city's top solicitors, so they're coming down and they're giving sort of one-to-one sessions on sort of what it's like to actually get employed in that industry. So it's also about raising aspirations and ultimately just letting the kids know that it is achievable. You can get into these sort of modes of employment, and obviously giving them an opportunity to talk one-to-one with the people that are in those industries.
What sort of young people are coming to you? Are they part of existing youth groups, or is it almost like a drop-in?
It's everybody, to be perfectly honest. We're getting people from all parts of the city, all economic backgrounds, and it is very much a drop-in centre. It's not a hard sell, let's get you into employment. It's a place,
That's the idea behind it, though.
It's somewhere where you can hang out. We've got iPads in there, Xboxes, we do dance classes, DJ classes and things, lots of really fun things. And ultimately the kids themselves drive the agenda on that. So if they're interested in a particular industry, they'll come to us, and then we'll sort of pull in some people from that industry so that we can get them in and have a talk about it. But it is very much also about sort of apprenticeships and getting people into further education as well if they have an interest in something specific.
What other areas of the city have been earmarked for development?
Over the next 5 years, I think this strong mandate, 78% in favour, 8 in 10 of businesses voted in favour. And I think what that really does for us is underline, that unremitting focus on the next 5 years. So we've got capital improvement projects, so for the likes of Northumberland Street, Percy Street, big market area. So we're hoping to see additional millions of pounds spent in those areas, really improving the city centre and again attracting more businesses in and more employment for the people of the city.
Great stuff. Thanks very much for coming in, Stephen Patterson from NE1. Thank you.
Thanks very much for getting in touch with us on